feel like a real question you should ask yourself is, why do you do the things you do? Why do you do the things that you think you want to do? Is it because you see others doing it, or is it because you just want to do it? Or is it to impress others? And the realest answer is that you got to do it for yourself. A lot of the reasons you do things are for other people. And I understand a lot of us we're all social creatures. We all want acceptance by one or another. But it comes to the realization that acceptance is only temporary. A lot of the people we want acceptance from are only going to be there part of the time. And a lot of the people we want to show our success to are not going to look back and see that and care. They're going to be moved on most of the time. And they're not going to know that we needed their acceptance or we needed their love or approval. And so the real answer is you need to do mostly everything for yourself. If it's not for your family to succeed, it's for yourself to succeed. And a lot of days it's gonna be rainy outside, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be, your knees are weak from all the things you did yesterday that were your goals and extra, but it's it's way harder to do things and fail than say you're not able to do it. Why not, instead of just saying you're not able to do it, just do it until you fail? Why not do it until you can? Instead of saying I can't do this, I can't do that, and you're halfway through and you can't do that, why not just go until you fall? Why not just go until you know for a fact that you couldn't go no more? Today I had a hard time getting my 4 miles done because my knees were hurting, my ankles were not in good shape. I was standing all day at a wrong angle at work, and it made it hard. It made it seem like I wasn't gonna be able to do what I did yesterday. It wasn't gonna be able to. I knew I was gonna get the 4 miles done, but it was a matter of, was I gonna need to stop and walk for it? Was I gonna need to stop and take a little walk, catch my breath, and do all of that? And then I started telling myself, why do I need to brace myself? Why do I need to take a break to finish? Why can't I just finish 100%, giving it my all? Why can't I go until I can? It's okay if I don't get those 4 miles done today, but it's not okay that I stop and slow down. A lot of the times you need to slow down for things. You need to focus on the goal. You can't mess up, so you go slow. Slow is a better pace than rushing things, right? But a lot of the times that gets in our mind too much, and we feel like slowing down is, we need those slow downs. We feel like we need to slow down constantly to get past our goal or to get our goals done. But I came to the conclusion afterwards, when I came back home, I checked my time and I had a better pace than I ever had. And that kind of made me dumbfounded. I was like, why do I have a better pace than I ever had before doing these 4 miles? But I felt the worst. And that just shows the power of the mind. The power of the mind is so strong that it's gonna give up before your body does. And you hear that everywhere, but that's how strong it is. Whatever you believe in, it's gonna fucking happen. Whatever you believe, whatever your mind believes is true is gonna be true. So why can't we take that negativity that we think is gonna be true and turn it into positivity that we know for a fact is gonna be true? Why can't we make these outcomes? Why can't we believe them? Why is it so easy us for go 3 days on our goal, but on the fourth day, it's like we don't want it as much? Why is that? Because there's not a lot of proof of our success. It's only mental and physical. No one else can see that. No one's running that 4 miles with me. No one's passing by me sometimes. I feel like, what if someone was passing by me? What if someone was looking at me that I hated, or someone that hated me, that said I was never gonna be nothing, or I was just fat and ugly like I was in middle school? What if they passed by me and they saw me running miles while they were on the way to McDonald's to get a meal because it's Saturday, you know? And that's a good motivation sometimes, but sometimes that's not there. Sometimes you can't think about other people seeing you and the happiness you get from other people seeing you succeed. Sometimes you just gotta fucking succeed. Sometimes you just gotta go and just go and just go. And sometimes there is no reason. A lot of the times there's no result but pain, but that pain in the morning helps us look back at yesterday and realize, damn, there was no motivation. There was no determination. It was just grit. It was just me repetition. It was just repetition. I just did it because I know it's my schedule. I know it's not going to do anything bad for me not to do this, so why not just do it? Why can't you just do something that you know it's not going to be bad for you? Why can't you do something that is going to push you forward instead of bring you back? Why is that so hard for you to understand? Why is that so hard? What is wrong with our minds that we think success is something that is not worth it? What is that? And that's when I think that the newfound order of the world is to get us all comfortable with working a 9 to 5, coming home, watching a movie, and being comfortable, and that's peace, that's blissfulness. But why can't we just want more all the time in a positive way? Why do we always have to want more in a materialistic way? Why do we always have to want more shoes, more clothes, more alcohol, more fun? Why does it have to be always more fun? Why can't it always just be more hard work to make us stronger? Do we think it's gonna make us weaker? No, it can't. You know it can't make you weaker. So why not do it? Because your mind feels like it's not capable of making the success. Because you feel like you're not special. So feel like you're fucking special. Do that shit. So on day 5, when you feel like you're not able to do it, you can look back on the day 4, day 3, day 1, and day 2 and realize, damn, I was that motherfucker that day and I'll be that motherfucker today. It's not that hard. It's only hard after 8 days. You know, the first couple days are easy because you're like, I have nothing to look back on and see that I did. So I got to start somewhere. And then after we start, we get in the middle. We get in the middle of our goals, and we get in the middle of failing, and then we're like, is it worth it? Should I take a rest day today? I did the 4 days I was supposed to. Is a 5th day good? What is this 5th day gonna do for me tomorrow? And reality is, it might not do much for you, but it's gonna help you understand that you can do a schedule. You can keep on repeating things just because you need to. Well, fuck that shit. Not because you need to, just because you're doing it, just because whatever. You don't need a cause. You don't need a reason to do things sometimes. You just gotta do it. You can't all the time have a reason to be grateful. Why can't you just be grateful that you're able to run? Why can't you be grateful that you're able to see, you're able to communicate with people how you want to? You know, a lot of us have a lot of things going for us. We're attractive, we're active, we got the body we always wanted. Everyone's always complimenting us. We seem to have no enemies in the world, but the only enemy is yourself for feeling like you have everything and feeling like you need materialistic things now. No one needs materialistic things. The only thing you need over you is a roof, clothes, and food, and a purpose to stay here. You don't need a purpose to be grateful though. You need a purpose to keep on going. And that purpose should always be yourself and not others. You know, there's a lot of negativity in the world because people feel like other people are not doing enough. But why does it matter what other people are doing? They're doing it, not you. You're not anywhere close to their skill level, so why are you judging them? Why are you judging them for trying to do something to support their lifestyle mentally and physically and financially? Why do you have to be so negative? What if you're the bad person? What if they don't suck, but you suck? Because are they judging you? Are they looking into that camera, looking at their fans, looking at the people that are watching them and being like, you're not good enough? No, that's you looking at the people you're watching, the people you're sitting down and wasting time, spending your time watching, and you're judging them. Why? Because you're no better than they are, and they're no better than you are. We're all human, and we're all capable of change. We're all capable of going somewhere forward, and we're all capable of also going backwards. So the only thing that matters at the end of the day is that you worry about yourself and your loved ones, you know? That's all that matters. A lot of the time I preach being about yourself and always being focused on yourself, but coming to the conclusion now, love is important. Everything's important when it comes to love. You know, we are only alive for acceptance. If it's not from ourselves, it's from others. But you got to understand there becomes acceptance and moderation. You can't overly need acceptance from everyone. You can't overly need attention for everyone. If people aren't giving you the attention you want, give it to yourself. Get it from your mind. You know, give attention to your mind. Give yourself to your mind and give yourself to God. So look at them. Look at yourself. Go in the mirror, look at yourself, and look right into your fucking eyes. Look into your eyes. It might sound cheesy, but look into your eyes and really look at yourself for a little bit. Look into your soul. Who are you? What does your soul look like? What does your gaze look like? How sad is it? How much does your interior want to be something different and better? How much does the inside do you want to be positive? How much are you craving that? And a lot of the time we push it down with substances, distractions, people, love, lust. It doesn't matter. But what matters is you give yourself time to realize, is this life I'm living worth it? A lot of us aren't living. A lot of us are just here existing. You know, you're living, so you might as well use it, you know. We're taking up space, so you might as well use it. Why not do something positive for a change? Why not go outside, you pass someone, they look beautiful. Tell them they look beautiful. It's not weird. It's you, it's your inner soul wanting to come out, you know, but you're too scared of acceptance to let that part of you come out. And it starts today where you start changing that. Give compliments when you want to. You like something, let that person know. You have a question about something you see in public, talk to that person. The worst they can say is no, and that hurts sometimes. No is a very hurtful word. But at least you can go past that and be like, I tried to get an answer. I tried to be curious. I tried to be nice, optimistic. And that only makes you a better person. It doesn't do anything negative for you to go out there and be somebody that you want to be. And if you don't want to be that person after a while, that's okay. Be the next thing you want to be. But at all means, don't stop. Don't stop trying to live your life how your childhood wanted you to. Don't forget the kid you. Look back at the 8-year-old you and fucking talk to him. Talk to him. If y'all were in the same room today, what would the conversations y'all would have with each other? It would probably be your 8-year-old self saying, what are you doing today? What things can you do now, 10 years from me? What are you doing now that I can stay here and realize I'm gonna be something in the future? You know? And imagine having nothing to say to that kid, but I just became an alcoholic. And I'm too scared to do a lot of things. I'm too hurt because of the relationships we went through. Imagine telling your 8-year-old self that and how much he would crash. How sad he'll become. You don't want to tell your 8-year-old self that. You want to be able to tell your 8-year-old self, oh, we did it all, Devon. We fucking tried it all. You know, we had a lot of relationships. We had a lot of things that happened to us that we really didn't wish for, but they happened and they were negative to us. But, you know, we never gave up. You know, we started that YouTube channel 1 year ago. We made 5 videos and then we stopped. But guess what, little Devon? 8 years, a year later, we picked it back up again. And now we have 12 more videos than we ever did at the first time we did. And look at that fucking face glow. Look at that fucking determination that, oh, I am somebody. And that 8-year-old self you're talking to changed. Look at that motivation you gave that 8-year-old self. Now look at yourself in the future, 8 years from now, and look back at all the fucking goals you accomplished. And then talk to your 18-year-old self that was redoing all the things he said he would never quit. And look how fucking happy he is that he never quit. Look how happy he is that he was a bad person, but he never gave up. He changed. He took accountability for those actions. He prayed for those people he hurt, and he kept on going. And now look at him. He's a fucking star. That's you. That's you. That was always you. But you were just too scared to become that person. Why? Why? You can't stop. Life is way too fucking short for that shit. But if you do everything you wanted, boy, you're gonna fucking realize it was a fucking marathon. And you never quit until you were in first place for yourself. And then you're gonna look back and fucking gassed. You're gonna be sweating, your knees are gonna hurt. But you're gonna be so fucking filled with excitement because you did the things you think or you thought you weren't, just because you pushed yourself to the end until you couldn't, until you crumbled at that finish line. Lay down at that finish line so those fucking losers can see that everything they said about you was false. Your legs are broken. Your arms are sweaty. Your fucking knees are burnt. Your toes are bleeding. Blisters everywhere. What fucking stopped you? Nothing. What pushed you? Everything. Everything that you didn't have. Everything that you never had pushed you. You know, a lot of the times we grow up and we have nothing, we want it all. But once we get a little bit of what we didn't have, we get comfortable with that and we start accepting the little bits of things we can get in life. Fuck that shit. Fuck only being able to get a little bit of what you always wanted as a kid. You gotta do it all until you drop. Fucking, it's sad. I go outside and I see everyone smoking, drinking, and I look back and I'm like, damn, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, everyone wants to partake in things. But how often are you partaking in these things? How often are you letting loose? Or are you only letting loose? Why can't you let fucking loose in hard work? You know, why can't you just give it your fucking all? Sweat. Fucking give it everything you got. You know, you might want to start a YouTube channel and you might not have the motivational shit to speak on. But after day 5, I tell you what, you're going to be a lot better than day 1. And how do I know that? Because I'm in the same situation you are right now. I'm still a nobody. I'm still no one. I'm still someone trying to be somebody, but that's okay. I'm there. I'm on the way there. I might be 2% there, but I'm fucking 2% more than I was yesterday. I'm 2% more than I was last year. And that's all that matters, is that I'm making a change. I'm making a change. And a lot of times it might be hard. You might think you're alone. And I remind you in every other video that you're not alone. It's you and God. You know, you might think God's not watching you because you're sinning, you know. You might think he turned your back on you because something bad, your family member died. But no, you turned your back on God. The hard times are when you got to realize you got to do it for God. You know, because at the end of the life, where do you want to be at? With your loved ones or with all your sorrows and sins that you did? And don't think that just because you did 20 years worth of bad things, you can't do 20 years worth of good things. No, it doesn't work like that. God doesn't turn away anyone as long as you forgive and repent and regret the things you did and give yourself to him. Let him embody you. Let him make you positive. Let him give you a reason to breathe when there's no other reasons to. When there's no air outside, let him be the air. When there's no fucking sunshine, let him be the sunshine in your mind. Doesn't always have to be positive. You might be getting evicted today. You might be getting broken up with today, or you might get